12.
Yo, what's good, y'all? This is Gov E. Fresh.
Hey, Redman is in the building. You already know.
Hey guys, this is Emily Peachy.
Shout out, man, to Worldwide Collaborations, man.
I want to shout out Worldwide Collaborations, LLC.
Shout out to the Worldwide Collaborations, LLC.
World movement, beyond thousands of movements.
The world movement, beyond thousands of movements.
All about representing each other together. So check this out.
What's up? You want to be a part of this? You want to be a part of the Worldwide Collaboration?
You guys should all be a part of Worldwide Collaboration.
Worldwide Collaborations, LLC. Check us out, man, and check what's going on, man. Word up. I have recently been choosing to be a spokesman and an ambassador, so you will see a lot more of me. Join the movement, man. It's beyond thousands of movements right now and talents put together, all about representing each other together.
I want to join, so I might see you there. All right, much success.
It is a worldwide collaboration song.
Yeah. Look, brainstorming, creative thinking, and new ideas, inventing innovations, representing everything, having members collaborate, worldwide collaboration.
All right. Welcome back to another Star-Setter episode of the Chatterbox with King Jacob, man. I took some time off, man. I had oral surgery when I got my teeth fixed, you know, and man, so I'm back at it again, man, you know, but that all surgery's tough, man. So, you know, I was out of commission for a little while, man, but we back, man, and with another Star-Setter episode with a young brother who don't need no introduction, man. One of the youngest CEOs that I know and does a great job, man. You know, HBCU alumni. Shout out to Fort Valley State. Shout out to, you know, his home front, ATL Georgia. You know, he a ATL alien, you know. So he grew up around that culture, man, what we call the Black Mecca, Hotlanta. And none other than businessman himself, CEO of COG Entertainment. And he's also a recording artist himself. He's a film producer, casting director, content creator. Just all around a businessman in the entertainment business, none other than Jovon Jones. What's up, brother?
What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm blessed to be here, man. You know, we're in a new year, new sacrifices, new opportunities, man. Definitely. The grind just getting much greater. You know what I mean? So, man, you've been really, really busy, man. What's been going on?
Man, yeah, man. I've been moving for real, like, you know, just everything, just throwing everything to the wall, seeing what sticks, you know what I'm saying, and just trusting God, you know what I'm saying, everything that I'm doing. I just right now I'm stationed in New York, you know what I'm saying. I wouldn't necessarily say I put the music to the side for a little bit, but I did tap into more so my film side this past year. So I've been doing the film stuff a little bit or whatever. And then, you know what I'm saying, basically just trying to bring everything together. Right now, we got some plans in the work that's crazy, man. Like, so it's just like, I'm glad that I took this chance to actually come out here and make some things happen and meet certain people, meet people that I need to meet and just, you know what I'm saying, move forward and get everything together.
Okay, man. Shout out to Legacy Magazine for tapping in with us out of the SIP, man. We definitely appreciate you tuning in, tapping in, and it's definitely a pleasure working with you and stuff like that. So, you know, I definitely be sending more people your way, man. And Legacy Magazine is one of the dopest media outlets that really help artists and business people and football coaches and whoever who is the asset in doing something in the community to make somebody better and to have an impact on lives. She wants to feature you in the magazine, so shout out to her for sure.
Shout out to Legacy.
And you most definitely welcome. So, man, before we get started into this entertainment journey, I just like to say, man, congratulations on you being a new husband and a new father. And
Thank
so,
you.
Yes, sir. So, and how did that trajectory change your mindset, and how you want to, how you look at the world now. You're a husband, and you're a father. You got a and you got a beautiful baby girl, man. So how did that change your mindset? Because you fresh out of college, and you got married, and you definitely had a child, to follow that. So how did that change your mindset?
Um, so I would say like more so. Obviously, I'm still learning when it come down to certain things. Like what I'm saying. Like I know it's. I wouldn't say it's not normal now, but it's definitely not normal that you see like I'm 24. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's not. It's a difference in my era or whatever, in the generation I'm in now. A lot of people, they're waiting or whatever, they're trying to wait, or they're saying they can't find anybody. I was able to be blessed to find somebody that I can build a partnership with, and understand, what I'm saying, and be able to build together, because I believe that when it comes down to being with somebody, it's deeper than saying I love you. You know what I'm saying? Like it's days and days of building blocks and building bricks on top of brick when it comes down to it. But I would say when it comes down to my mindset, it made me more consistent. Definitely made me more consistent. I feel like I was already a calculated person before, but now I feel like when it comes down to it, I'll say I'll try more things, if that makes sense. So
Okay.
like stuff that I would push away before, like, okay, well, I ain't really gotta do that. I ain't really gotta give that no energy. I'm giving that type of stuff energy now or whatever. Like, and I'm having the little girl just really just. I feel like this, and this is what I'll say. You know what I'm saying, and we can go down that rabbit hole if you want to, but you know what I'm saying. I would say having a little girl and having a little boy are two different things.
Okay.
So for me, I feel like having a little girl, it let me know that God was telling me, "Hey, look, I'm giving you, I'm giving you time to get everything that you need to get together, but I'm giving you this little girl as this motivation and this boost to get you to where you need to go." Because if you know how little girls are, it's more so about, at a certain point, they're gonna get to a point where they start looking at certain things and be like, "Well, Dad, I want this. Dad, I want that. Dad, I need this. That," and it's not really gonna be something that they necessarily don't want or need. It's going to be just a thing where it's a necessity. Girls are more expensive than little boys. But if I had a
Hmm.
little boy, it would have been a thing of, I'm giving you this version of yourself that you can build up to not to make the same mistakes as you.
Right.
So I
Yeah.
feel like me having a little girl first is helping me get to my destination. So when I do have my little boy, I'm able to show him this is how you do it, versus me trying to reteach myself how to come back up, if that makes sense.
It does. It does. It makes all the sense in the world because, when it comes to little girls, and this is very true. The first man that they truly love is their father, and the ones that do not have a father that love them or is not there for them, they go through so much turmoil and pain, and they go through it in silence, and people really know how in depth that pain hurts them. And so I commend you for being a new dad, for being a father that's going to grow and that's committing to giving her everything that she needs, and being the best man that she's ever seen. You know what I mean? So salute for that, man. Salute for that. And I can dig it. So to this entertainment business, I have one key question for you.
Okay.
How do you think the digital era has evolved the entertainment business? And what would you take from the analog entertainment business and put it in with the digital era?
Okay, that's a good question. That's a good question. So I would say this. Um, I don't think that it's a lot of people that say that the digital era has diminished the actual talent, if that makes sense. But I just feel like you just have to become smarter with what you're doing. So to me, I feel like being in this digital age, like okay, I'm gonna go down the rabbit hole of AI. A lot of people are scared of AI. I'm not scared of AI because I feel like AI, and I would say I kind of tapped into it before it became very prominent or whatever. But when it comes down to AI, I feel like AI is as good as you let it work for yourself. AI is only as smart as you. So, and it's just like an analog. So for an example, when we talk about the analog boards like in the studio. Some people say, well, I want -9 decibels on my mixing, or I want negative point one decibels on my mastering or whatever. You can do the same thing with the digital. It's just with the digital, it's just basically showing you like, hey, you might have to put in a little bit more creativeness. Like, yes, you can manually use the analog when it comes down to like you're doing it yourself. Like, I know what I'm doing. I've been doing this for 25 years. But I think when the computers got involved, where they say, hey, we're gonna move the analog board out the way and we're gonna go digital with it. I think it scared a lot of people because they feel like the computer or the digital version of it is controlling the system now. No, you're still controlling the system. It's still as smart as you. So I feel like it's no different. If that's really what my answer is more so. I feel like they play hand in hand because it's no different from each other. You know what I'm saying? Like they used to have mastering boards. They used to have what's it called? Damn the MCRs. They used to have the MCRs and the beat pads and everything. Like of course you can still use everybody still use beat pads or whatever, but now we have a thing where you can go online and you can use FL Studios to make your beats. It's the same thing. You know what I'm saying? You can go online now nowadays. It's just like when it comes down to teaching a kid. When I grew up, we had to learn how to write in cursive. We had to we had to know how to write in general. We had to know how to read a book. Nowadays, kids can listen to a book. They can digitally create their own cursive handwriting. They don't
Mm-hmm.
have to, and we're looking at it like, oh, they don't have to work as hard. No, they're still doing the same thing that we're doing. It's just they're doing it in a different way that is going to advance them. So by the time that they're 40, 50 years old, they can keep up with the time that's going on. They already know what's going on by that point because they grew up with that technology. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? Like for us, we look at it like I can't look at my phone all day, it's gonna give us a headache. But then for them, it's like that's all they do is look at their phone. That's all they do is look at a screen. So to them, it's like, nah, this isn't really affecting me negatively like y'all would think. This is actually helping me because I'm learning stuff when it's taking you 15 minutes to learn something that I learned in 30 seconds.
Right. Right. Right.
You feel what I'm
And
saying? Because we reading the book. They online listening to somebody tell them what's going on, but not just listening to somebody that's telling them. The person that's telling them already did the research for them.
right.
So it's
Right.
cutting the
Right. Right.
time in half where you don't have to work as hard. So I feel like to answer your question, I feel like the analog and the digital era, it plays a role in each other. We just have to learn how to get with the times. I feel like even when it comes down to sales, that's why they say, oh, artists not selling as much. Well, how are you getting a billion streams and selling 50,000 copies? I don't think it's about the copies no more. I don't think it's about the actual quote unquote sales, especially with how they got the sales set up. You get 1,500 streams, that equals to one album sale. That that math by itself doesn't make any sense. But if you have a
Right.
billion streams, you can expect at least 200,000 of those people that didn't listen to your music to be able to say, you know what? He coming to my town. I'll spend $200, $300 to go and see him in concert. You
Right.
have way more fans in this era now because you have way more people listening to your music. Like, for an example, imagine if we had digital platforms 20 years ago. Michael Jackson would have got a billion streams in the first day.
That's true. That's
You
true.
feel what I'm saying? So it's like, and it's also a thing of back then, a lot of the fans weren't able to get access to the music. Because if we're talking about maybe 100 million people listening to your music now, like for somebody like The Weeknd or Bruno Mars or Drake or Kendrick, they got 100 million people listening to their music. But back in the day, that would have correlated to, oh yeah, Kendrick just sold 500,000 copies in the first week on his album. Drake done sold 2 million copies on the first week of his album. But that's still only a little bit of their fans, because all the other fans, they have to buy the album later, or they didn't get to buy the album at all because they ain't got $12, $13 to spend on buying somebody's record. But
Um,
because it's accessible on our phone now, I don't
mhm.
have to go and get an Apple Music membership. I can go straight to YouTube. I can go to SoundCloud, or shoot, I can just simply wait until it's available for me to listen to it on my phone.
I think that music is too accessible right now. And I think that I shouldn't be able to listen to Dub 3 or to Drake or to Kendrick or to J. Cole. I shouldn't be able to listen to their whole EP or their whole album. I should be able to listen to a 30-second snippet, and if I want the more, I need to purchase that track. You know what I mean? So
I agree.
I think I think that takes away from the artist. And I I hear Snoop Dogg talking about the streaming, and he said he looked at the streams that he had, and he looked at the money that he seen in his account. It wasn't adding up. And so, and what he said, the only reason why they brought the streams in, because so many people had their music in the streets and had their code on the back and had the scan gun, and that reported straight to SoundScan. And how is these artists charting like that if they're not on the radio? Because they're selling 100,000, 200,000, 300,000 out the trunk, and
Yeah.
they scanned it, but they getting money because they selling 300,000 for $10 a piece. You know what I mean? You do the math. You know what I mean? So it's like artists in that mixtape that's within the streets with their music. I think that the major labels had to do something to stop them from eating, and I think that's the only reason why they're screaming. For real, for real.
So I'm gonna give you this. So it was an era. It was an era around 2010, 2011,
Hmm.
where it was this no label movement going on. And then I
Right,
think the Migos, they capitalized on that. They capitalized on that. I don't need a label to do what I'm doing, because this is during the same time where around 2009, Cameron basically walked away from major labels and was like, "No, I'm about to push Dip. I'm about to push Dipset independently. I done made money that I need to make." But it was too many artists that had to go through audits at that time. Like Chameleon there talked about it, where Jay-Z was exposing the industry when he came back in. And basically he was basically saying, I took a break. Jay-Z basically took a break from the industry, or take a break from rapping, to go in behind the scenes to figure out, okay, if I sold 5 million records, why am I only making $5 million? That doesn't make any sense. If I
right,
sold 5 million records and it's $12 a pop, or it's $15 a pop, I should be making at least 100 million off of my music. Jay-Z went in and exposed everything. This is the part they don't talk about. Jay-Z went and exposed everything to the point where he was able to get Chameleon there. There's no disrespect to Chameleon there, but he was able to get somebody that had one hit album, 3 or 4 hits or whatever. He had about 2, 3 albums, but he had one album that popped. But
right,
he was able to find over $600,000 for Chameleon. He was able to find $600,000 that the label was hiding from him.
right,
So imagine what he found for other artists. Imagine what he found for other artists that weren't playing industry games. That's the part that comes into play. When you don't play industry games, the industry plays the game with you. Okay, you don't want to do this show, or you don't want to go and do it like this, or you don't want to go and put this shirt on, you don't want to go in and make a song with this artist. Okay, I'm gonna steal money from you and I'm gonna hide it, and I'm gonna push so many gifts in front of you. It's like I call it the Birdman effect. Birdman was good at this. He was good at showering his artists so much that he forgot to leave out the part that he was stealing from them. So he'll pull up, hey, Playboy, I got you a Bugatti. Hey, I got you this new chain. Hey, I got you this new house. I got you X, Y. And you thinking, as an artist, because you lit, you thinking, oh shit, Birdman, this Birdman. So Birdman got the money where he's buying all this shit for me because he appreciate me as an artist. No, he's taking the money that he stole from you, and he's taking a little bit of that. He's taking a small portion of that money to
Mm-hmm.
buy all of this stuff for you.
Right.
And all you have to do is keep slaving for him.
Yeah.
But he's not going to tell you that he stole the money. He's going to make it seem like you didn't make anything. And when you bring up the money, he's not going to pull a contract out, or he's not going to pull a receipt out. He's going to pull bills out. Where you was in the studio last week with Rick Ross. That was about 500,000. You just did this song with Manny Fresh. That's another 500,000. Manny Fresh ain't even get paid.
Right.
But
So
he
all
pulled
of them
out
had
this
to go.
whole.
They had to go to court, and Birdman had to pay a lot of money out to them boys, man.
And Wayne only got paid 52 million. So imagine how much more money that Wayne didn't get to see, but he had to settle out for that 52 million because that's the only money that Birdman being a smart businessman, that's the only money that Birdman probably accounted for. But it's probably hundreds of millions of dollars that he still got to go home to and keep in his pocket.
He actually owed Wayne around, from what I understand, Wayne got the 52 million, but Birdman actually owed Wayne like $300 million, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
why Wayne had to go. That's why when Wayne was able to get his masters from Young Money, he ended up having to sell that for 150 million because he was looking at it like, okay, this is the only way that I can get my money back. If he's not gonna pay me, I have to find somebody else that's willing to bet on me and bet on my catalog for what I could basically what I could get back. And that was basically Birdman's way of gifting him. Like, hey, you can have your catalog too if you want to. You know what I'm saying? But he
Yeah.
still lowballed himself because Wayne never learned business. If Wayne understood his business, he would have been able to sell his catalog. Okay, so I'm gonna give you an example. And this is no disrespect to Murder Inc. and none of that, because they had a phenomenal run. Irv Gotti was able to get 400 million off of Ja Rule and Ashanti, and gave half of that money to Ja Rule. He was able to get 400 million off of those two artists.
Mm-hmm.
How was it that Wayne was only got 100 million or 150 million off of Nicki, Drake, and himself?
Because Irv Gotti is what we call a moving shaker. He maneuvers in business, and he knows business, and you just can't tell Irv anything. You know what I'm saying? If you don't believe me, ask Leon Core. You know
Yep.
what I mean? You just can't tell Irv anything. You know what I mean? You know, Irv was always a cat, man, that people didn't really understand how great of a businessman he was. You know,
Right.
you telling me he got 400 million for Ashanti Ja Rule in his production, and 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 we talking about the Red Hot Chili Peppers is only getting 250 million for for most of their masters.
You
You
feel
know
what
what I
I'm
mean?
saying?
You know what I mean? And we talking about a rock group that sold out shows worldwide for more than 30 years. You know what I mean?
It's
So
about knowing your worth and not jumping at the first offer.
right.
I feel like that's one thing that I learned when it come down to this, what I'm doing myself, in terms of just understanding that we built so much. And when I say we built so much, I'm talking about more so like COG. It's a conversation that I had a couple of weeks ago when the artists at COG, where they was basically explaining like, we're not in this, we're not just jumping in this to get a deal. That's not the point of this. We already know our business front and back, to the point where when we get in this, they're gonna have to come with the bag if they want to sign us. You know what I'm saying? If somebody come in and saying, "Oh, we want to sign y'all," they got to come with the bag, and not even just come with the bag. They got to come with a contract that makes sense because we reading them. You know what I'm saying? We not just going. It's not going to be a thing where we just, oh shoot, 100 million. All right, I'm about to sign. No, because if anybody getting 100 million on a record contract, just know that you that label slave until the day you die. Ain't nobody giving you 100 million unless it come with something. That's that conversation where you say, no, 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 no. I'll take that 12 million because at least I know with that 12 million, I'll able to still keep my integrity. I'll still
Mm-hmm.
able to keep my artists. I'll
Mm-hmm.
still be able to keep my label. And
Right.
I'll tell you this: give me that $12 million contract, and we'll make 100 million that same year that you gave us that 12 million. To the point where we don't even have to touch that $12 million. We can
Right.
take 2-3 million of that and turn that into hundreds of millions of dollars. And
That's
what
right.
happens then is now when it's time for you to renew that contract, you have to come back with that 100 million. But that 100 million is gonna mean something different this time because we done already made 300.
That's
You
right.
feel what
That's
I'm
right.
saying?
So it's simple, man. The music business is 90% business, is 10% music. So if you know your business, you can win. You know, and I just think that a lot of artists don't really understand the business. But we'll get more to that after we return with this quick commercial break. Stay tuned. I have Mr. Jovon Jones, the CEO of COG Entertainment. We'll be right back momentarily.
I'm tired of lying, and it's getting plain to see. I done tried hard to deny, but this woman changing me. Might go to the clubs, but I leave kinda early, and I don't drink and drive, but chug and jive, so my woman ain't gotta worry. No, no. See, I can't be playing with her heart or playing with her mind. We ain't getting no younger, can't play with my time. And I know she miss me and can't wait to kiss me. So I might be invited tonight. You ain't gotta look for me. I might be invited tonight. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right, man. That's my man, Too Smooth out of Mississippi. Shout out to Too Smooth, man. Brother is doing a lot, man, and he on his grind. So shout out to him. So, man, this is 90% business and 10% music in the music entertainment business.
Right.
And another thing is so important for artists, labels, whoever you are, man. Get your name copywritten and trademark. Because when you got that trademark on your name, you get way more music licensing deals. You know what I mean? And with that trademark name, that simplifies you if you're in a festival and they got your name on a marquee and you're doing a music festival, then that trademark is gonna get they're gonna have to pay you for that. You know what I'm saying? No
Right.
matter what. That trademark going to get you paid. So get your trademark, man. And another thing that I want to touch base on, what has happened to the A&R business? I remember a time where A&R used to travel all across the United States, all across the world, and look for talent. And somebody told me, man, is there not a budget for the A&Rs anymore? Or do they just sit behind the computer? What happens to the A&R that just used to really be out there in the world scouting talent? And so, with you understanding the music business, what do you think has happened?
So I'll just say when it comes down to the A&R side of things or whatever, I believe it happened, I would say around maybe 2012, 2013. When, like I said, this is around the no label situation. This is around the no label era or whatever. The A&R's game plan changed. So, for an example, if you remember that era, that Rich Boy era, the Jibs era, the Mims era, where these were artists that were coming out with hit records, but they weren't developed or whatever. They were artists where they found these artists. You know what I'm saying? They found these artists on the block, or they found these artists. These artists had walked up to them and spit a verse or whatever, and they signed them on the spot. What happened was A&Rs didn't become A&Rs became selfish in a way, and this is what I mean by that. A&Rs, they stopped caring about the artist, and they started caring more so about what the artist can sell. Now it's always been about selling, but the A&R had more hands-on repertoire of how they can push the artist. So before, like for an example, I'll give you somebody like shoot, okay, I'll give you Ja Rule for an example. So with Ja Rule, everybody know that Ja Rule A&R, it consists of, like, you had Irv, but then you also had like for Nas you had a Steve Stout, but like for a Ja Rule or Def Jam you had Kevin Liles, Leor Cohen or whatever. Leor had more so a plan for Ja Rule to be more so gangster. Like he was like, nah, we need that raw gangster image from him. Like we already got DMX who's dark, but we need that gangster image from Ja. But at the same time, you had Kevin Liles and Irv. Like, what if he was gangster, but he was gangster loving? What if he was somebody that can talk to the ladies, but he was on his street stuff? So I feel like that role went away. That role went away with the A&R having a basically having a say on how your music will sound or whatever. It was Lupe. I'll give you Lupe for an example when it comes down to the most recent situation of an artist being controlled by an A&R. And that's another part that we had to talk about. Lupe had this album called Lasers. This was one of his most anticipated albums that he's ever made. This album was going to take him over the top if he did it right. He recorded this album. Let him say it. He recorded this album over 40 times or whatever. So realistically, maybe like 11, 12 times, you know what I'm saying, getting it right. But every time he recorded it, the label sent it back. Atlantic sent it back to him. No, that's not it. It's not the album. It's not this too rapidy. This too pop. This too this. This too that. To the point where he realized, damn, these A&Rs don't understand what to do with me at this point. And it gets to a point where there is a separation. But then because they found an artist like Lupe, they find artists like Kanye, they find artists like not I won't say Kanye, but they found artists like Ja Rule. These are the A&Rs doing this. The A&Rs did all of the work of finding you. Now we're in an era where the artist is coming with however they're gonna be. So now the A&Rs is looking at it like we're just going to throw something to the wall and see what sticks. We're gonna keep trying out whatever we need to try out to see if you have it in you to make hits. That's why there's so many artists that come out now, but there's so many artists that's not successful because the A&Rs don't step in and tell them, hey, just do this. Like they used to. Think about it. Ja Rule recorded his first album. He recorded Vidi Vidi Vici. And he said that he didn't have Holla Holla until the last recording session of that album. And it's only because, and the only reason why he recorded Holla Holla was because Def Jam sent the album back and said, this shit too gangster. This too grimy. We can't sell this. Who are we selling this album to? We can't, this is a mixtape. We can't sell this album. And it got to the point where Irv had to lock in and say, you know what? We probably did run this gangster stuff into the ground a little bit too strong. So let's give them a song that we can play in the club that we can play at the beach, that we can play in the mall, just so you can have a hit right before this album come out. Everything else was the same. The only thing that changed was that one song, the Holla Holla and that Daddy's Little Baby. Those the only two songs they had to go back and say, you know what? We need a hit for the club, and we need one of these heartfelt anthems with the Daddy's Little Baby. We need a heartfelt anthem that we can play for everybody that everybody can relate to, and everybody will get up and go buy that Ja Rule album. And it ultimately worked to the point where that became Irv's niche, where he was like, okay, now we done made the club hit. Now let's dive deep into bringing the rap and the pop world together, but making them one like a marriage. To the point where he started putting on, he made J Lo hotter. He made Ashanti. He made uh uh um Eve. Certain people that were on some grimy stuff before, even like we talk about J Lo or even Ashanti, who just are just R&B or pop, or they're in a certain world. He brought them into the hip hop world so hip hop can grow stronger and become the biggest genre that it is today. And to be honest, that same formula that Urge started is the same formula that we use to this day when it comes down to making a hit.
It's funny you say that, man. I remember Irv going to Leon Core and and Leon Core said, "No, man, who gonna listen to a dude that's growling like a dog?"
Yeah,
So I remember he was talking with old boy from Rough Riders. He said, "So you gonna sign Earl?" He was like, "Yeah, we love that gritty street sound." And so what Leon Core didn't know is that Russell Simmons was gonna curse him out for not signing DMX later on. And what he didn't know that Irvin Lorenzo Music LLC
yeah,
was not an entity of Def Jam. So that entity teamed up with Swiss Beats, and when DMX first album came out, he was able to tell them like, "Man, I told y'all, but y'all didn't want to listen."
yeah,
And Russell Simmons was so mad at Leon Core, man, like so mad, bro. Like the story I get is Russell wanted to put hands on him for that. You
yeah.
know what I mean? Because he didn't sign DMX. So the story is, I think what I did want to see that Jay Z, DMX, and Ja Rule album come out. I think it probably would have been one of the best albums of our time. You know what I mean? It's just like I can tell you album I listen to all the time, and I'm always gonna listen to it. I always listen to the Firm. You know what I mean? Like the Firm is one of my
Yeah,
favorite joints. You know what I mean? So it wasn't just who was on it. It was just how they orchestrated and put it together. You know, and just like how the production was strategically handpicked. And I just think that it's a few albums that was supposed to come out that never came out, man. Just like it was like the Cole, Kendrick, and Drake. You know, they had mentioned that some years ago that they was gonna do a project together. That project would have been stupid. You know, real stupid, man. Just
but
like
I think
the
it plays a role. I'll say this because I know where you're going with it. I feel like now we've gotten to an era where I think that ego era is over with. If that makes sense. Like I think the Cole, Kendrick, and Drake situation. I think that was the last era of letting egos or letting power or letting status control the narrative of what you do with somebody that you came up with or
Mhm.
whatever. Like we hear it all the time. That's why DMX, and Ja did never they could never put that album together because Jay Z had an ego. You know what I'm saying? Jay Z was like, well, shoot, I'm at the point now where I'm as big as y'all or I'm bigger than y'all. And because Ja was the last one to come out because he was the little brother, it became a situation where by the time Ja came out, Jay-Z and DMX was already bigger than him. We talk about Drake, Kendrick, and Cole. By the time Drake, by the time Kendrick and Cole could have that conversation to say, let's do the record, Kendrick and Drake done already fell out because of ego. You feel what I'm saying? Because, oh, I'm bigger than you, or I got more money than you, or I'm more powerful than you, or I'm more impactful than you, or I'm more lyrical than you, or I'll make more hits. So now it's that conversation of who's better and who needs who. I feel like okay, for an example, I'll give you this. With COG, what we have coming up, what we're doing this year is we're doing more collab projects. So just look out for it's gonna be a situation where we're gonna be doing more collab projects where you might see an album with me and King Country come out. You know what I'm saying? You might see an album with Logical and a THD. You might, you know what I'm saying? Like we're expanding the game or whatever. We're expanding the
Speaking of
game.
logical, man, I recently listened to him, and I recently called him, and he's grown a lot since 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 I was on a Zoom meeting with him 2.5, 3 years ago.
Yeah,
He he's grown a lot, with the music, but he's grown a lot as a man,
yeah, yeah, definitely.
intellectually, and he's matured a lot, and so I can see it in his music. So I just wanted to say salute to him as well. And man, one last question before we wrap it up and get out of here. Do you think R&B is going to come back?
Yes, yes, and not
Okay,
even because
so let me ask you this: when you remember, and you younger, but you still was listening to the radio. You remember when they had Jagged Edge, Drew Hill, Silk, um, um, Carl Thomas, Maxwell, Tank,
John B.
Genuine, John B. A all the R&B was on the radio at one time, man. Do you think we gonna get them days back?
Yeah, I'll tell you this. I think what everything has a pattern. I'll say this. R&B did go through R&B went through a change. It went through a shift because we had R&B is a gift and a curse. And this is why I would say that. R&B
Hmm.
became a gift and a curse because the R&B that I grew up on was sex R&B. It was sex music. So what I mean by
Uh-huh.
that is we weren't getting love making music. We was getting sex music to the point where
Okay.
the 2010s came in and we got artists like The Weeknd, Trey Songz. We got artists where they're singing, you know what I'm saying? They're singing, but they're singing about stuff that rappers rap about. To the point where when they do, like for an example, some like The Weeknd just did an interview and they asked The Weeknd on the interview, hey, um, how do you feel about what you've done for R&B? And he answered and said, I don't know why everybody thinks that I'm an R&B artist. I never looked at my music as R&B. So I call that the throwing the rocks and hiding your hand. No, 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 no. You can't do that now. You changed R&B for what it is right now to the point where it's so vulgar and it's so crazy that that artists that make R&B music don't want to say that it's R&B that they're making. Like one artist that I can respect, and I don't think that we understood at the time because everybody had this, they had their own version of what they thought R&B was. But one artist that I can respect now, just looking in hindsight, Jacquees. I can respect Jacquees for saying that he was the king of R&B because he was the one R&B artist besides like maybe a Chris Brown or even Trey Songz that stood up for the genre. That said, no, listen to my music. I'm not saying that I'm the best singer. That's not what I said. I'm saying that I'm the only person that's making the right type of R&B music now. That if this album came out 20 years ago, it would fit into the trajectory of what's going on in the genre. Not this other
Hmm.
stuff that everybody else is making. Not this middle ground stuff. Not this, you know what I'm saying? Not they throw a stray out there, but not this Bryson Tiller music where you don't know if he's being melodic, you don't know if he's singing, or you don't know if he's rapping. No, I'm giving you soulful music. I'm giving you baby girl, I'm sorry music. I'm giving you art and like I said, I'm not just saying this because of what I represent, but artists like THD, artists like Tiana McFarlane, shoot, artists like Trey 318, they're bringing back that soul of R&B when it comes down to what R&B actually stands for and what's this what and not just what it stands for, but what it will look like in the future for the kids that grow up. Because the thing about it is, this is one thing that we forgot too. We're not making music for people our age. This not just me. I'm not talking about me or my team. I'm talking about everybody. I'm talking about everybody that's in black music or just pop culture in general. You're not making music for 25-year-olds. You're not making music for 35-year-olds. You're not making music for 45-year-olds. They already have their era. They already have the people that they listen to. If you 45 years old, you grew up on Whitney Houston. You grew up on Michael Jackson. If you 35 years old, you grew up on R. Kelly. You grew up on Mary J. Blige. You 25, 26 years old, you grew up on Keisha Cole. You grew up on Chris Brown. You grew up on Mario. We're not we're not in that era. You 65 years old, you grew up on Roberta Flack. R.I.P. Roberta Flack. You grew up on Roberta Flack. You grew up on Maze and Frankie Beverly and Maze. You grew up on that. That's your era. Stevie Wonder. You grew up on Ray Charles. That's what you're going to listen to. You're not going to listen to the new stuff because that has nothing to do with you anymore. One
Well,
thing that we have to
I will
get
say
back
this.
to with
I will say this. One genre that I see everybody listen to, man, young and old, and I've been to shows, whether they was outside or inside. Southern Soul got a different type of language, man.
and that's what I was going to get to. That's what I was going to get to. It's like I hate it, but because we on this conversation, I got to bring them up. R. Kelly understood his assignment. He understood in the 90s, he made the music that was based for the 90s kids. Even though even if that was his target, you know, maybe
Man,
that's what he wanted to do. Maybe he understood, but he understood that that was his audience. He understood, okay, I got to get these kids up out of the seat to go and buy my album. I remember, it's just a little side story. I remember growing up and Pretty Ricky was hot. And I remember Pleasure P went solo. And I was watching 106 in Park one day, and Pleasure P was putting out his debut album. Literally, this is how I'll tell you this is the power that artists have. They don't realize they have, but they will only figure this out once they're able to tap into that. Um, I remember his video came on, and I liked the song, and I looked at my mama, and she said, what? He said his album just came out. I said, yeah. She said, you want to go to the store and buy a copy? I said, yeah, let's do it. We got straight up. I got dressed. We went to the store, bought Pleasure P album. That's the power that these artists have on these kids. Where it's like you have to be able to not to be able to just make music for the kids that for the kids can to listen to. You got to be able to make music for the kids to listen to, but for the parents to vouch for that
to
artist so they
approve
can
of,
get that
yes.
music for their child.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. You do. And then while you speak of R. Kelly, people don't want to admit it, but Happy People, songs
I was
like
yeah.
that, man, and Step in
You
the Name
saved
of
me.
Love, that's Southern Soul, man. That's
Yeah.
Southern Soul at its best.
He went and grabbed that other audience based off of songs like I Believe I Can Fly,
Hmm.
World's Greatest, A Woman's Threat. He went and was able to say, okay, I'm making these hits for these kids. But when they mom or they dad go to the store and buy this album and they gotta listen to this album, like it's like watching an animated movie, but it has an adult uh message behind it that the kids aren't going to understand because they see a horse talking, so they just like the horse, but the message isn't for the kids. The message is for the adult that's watching it with their kid. That's what R. Kelly did. He was able to make hits that kids could dance along to and sing along to and make an album where when they parents popped the album in, the parents was getting a message out of the album, as well as the kid was able to dance to the album.
Right. You're
You
right.
feel what I'm saying? A
Absolutely.
child isn't going to understand when a woman's fed up. They're gonna like your body's calling, but when a woman's fed up, isn't for you. It might be for your mama that's having a situation, that's having a little situation with your dad, and you don't understand what's going on right now. But it just touched your mama, or it can touch your dad, where your dad is he just had an argument with your mom's, and you don't understand what's going on. But then he popped that song in, and he's like, damn, R. Kelly spitting. I know what I relate to what he's saying.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, man. So man, we about out of time, so we're gonna get ready to wrap it up, man. So go ahead and give your shout outs, man, and tell people what you got going on. And man, you got the floor.
Hey man, I want to just first of all, I just want to shout out to God for just, you know what I'm saying, just giving me this opportunity to expand the brand. You know what I'm saying? One thing that you know about me or whatever, I've been expanding this ever since you met me
Right.
or whatever, to the point where when it pop, it's gonna be powerful or whatever. I want to shout out to everybody here in New York that's been helping me get to the point where I'm at right now when it come down to bridging the gap. You know what I'm saying? I want to shout out COG, shout out THD, Icon E, Logical, Tiana McFarland, LK Cam, King Country, Nation. I do want to tell you this too. We got a project coming up that's so crazy. When I tell you it's so crazy, we bridging the gap and between the music and the film when it come down to what we doing. I'm gonna speak
Hmm.
on it more. You know what I'm saying? We run this back, have another interview by then. We should have everything, the ball rolling on that. But
Okay.
hey man, I'm just telling you, like, when it come down to this year, hey, look out for Logical featuring Kato Motion coming out Friday or
Okay.
whatever. I'm gonna get that to you right after so you can, you know what I'm saying, be able to have that or whatever. But we got the music video coming. You know what I'm saying? THD got a record on the way. I got a record on the way. Dove coming back. King Country. Hey, look. Hey, just be on the lookout. We about to go crazy. This is the year 2025.
All right, man. All right, man. You heard it first. The Chatterbox with King Jacob, Mr. Jovon Jones, man, CEO of COG Entertainment, man. And just want to thank you for coming through and blessing the show, man. And peace we out, man. Be blessed, be safe, man. And we'll holler.